Hello, I'm Austin Wilson, Research Analyst at Hixon Zuercher Capital Management.
And I'm Josh Robb, Director of Wealth Management at Hixon Zuercher Capital Management. And today we're talking about the June economic update, where we look back at May and see some of the news in the market and the economy and what happened.
Absolutely. So, we're going to start with the markets.
That's right.
That's what we do. The S&P 500, largest U.S. publicly traded companies, flattish.
Flat.
Up 0.4% for the month. Dow was down 3.3%. The NASDAQ, and we're going to get to this in a little bit, up 5.9% for the month of May.
Yep.
Big performance change there. Small caps were down 1.2%. Developed international stocks down 4.1%. Emerging market stocks down 0.6%. And bonds down 0.5%. So pretty much if you were not holding tech stocks, you were flat to down.
Yep. Sounds good. All right. I'm going to give you a couple news articles I found that happened over the last month or so. This just recently happened. Venice, Italy.
Oh, I love
water
it.
canals,
Never been there.
Right?
Want to go there.
They woke up one day to find fluorescent green water in the canals, and they're not sure exactly what it was, if it was a chemical leak or they thought maybe even environmentalist demonstration, because that's happened a couple times. But it was not St. Patrick's Day green like they do in Chicago.
Right.
But this was a bright green, and they're still looking into that.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That's a lot of water.
Yes.
I would love to go there because I heard that it won't be there for 100 years more.
Maybe.
Probably with changing water levels. Next up, artificial intelligence.
Yes,
So
AI.
the NASDAQ was up 5.9%.
Yes.
This is largely due to the fact that anything in the artificial intelligence realm popped hard.
Yes.
Like, it was up a lot. So that is really the thing that has worked the most this year, is anything related to artificial intelligence. AI, GPU, or graphic processing unit maker, chip maker, NVIDIA, is the largest component of semiconductors, chips in general, and kind of the leader in high-performance artificial intelligence products. They're up well over 100% year to date.
Doubled.
Yeah, more than doubled this year. So that is kind of what's working right now.
All right. Sticking with the water theme here.
Water.
I actually have 3 articles on water.
Oh, boy.
Yes.
Someone was thirsty.
What are you learning about today? That's what I'm learning about. So, Professor.
Yep.
He's 55 years old. He's from the University of South Florida.
Okay.
He just broke the Guinness record for time spent living underwater. Now, he's doing this for research to look at the effects on the body for under a high-pressure environment, because you're pressurized down there. But he's been down there for over 77 days. His goal is to get to June 9th, which will be 100 days for him.
Okay.
And he's there to learn, and he's just in a lagoon, but he's, 30 feet down below the surface in this container that was created, and it's like the size of 2 king-size beds. Like,
not very big.
Width-wise.
Yeah,
not very big. And he's got a little kitchen, a little sleeping area. People can dive down and see him through a window, and he has a medical team that checks on him. But his goal is just to learn about that. He was in the Navy, and so he spent a lot of time in the water, and then became a professor and got his doctorate, and is now breaking world records.
Makes me think of Little Mermaid, which is debuting in theaters.
That's right.
Currently.
Yes.
Under the sea.
Under the sea.
That's
Under
pretty
the
good
lagoon.
stuff. Yeah, that's good. All right, number 3, debt ceiling.
Debt ceiling.
Everyone's talking about it,
Yep.
so we're going to talk about it too. As of actually the time of this recording, the debt ceiling bill, to increase the debt ceiling and to really pass a new budget, has passed through the House and is very likely to pass the Senate, meaning we should be in pretty good shape for the X date, which is June 1st.
Yeah.
Well, June 1st it was the original.
Yeah, then they moved it to
the 5th. So that's kind of where we're sitting right now. We should be in pretty good shape. The government should not default, should be able to pay their bills. Markets are mixed on the news, but there was a lot of volatility leading up to this over the last couple of months in both fixed income and equities. So as it stands right now, as of the morning of June 1st, we are looking pretty good.
Okay. Now the third water-related
More
story
water.
I have. Fisherman is out fishing one morning.
That's what they do.
And saw something in the water and kind of drove his boat over to check it out. Submerged Jeep. And this was about 40 feet or so off of the ramp where you load dock. So he called in and was like, hey, somebody needs to come get this car out of the water. So it took a while. Truck came, tow truck. The guy in the boat came over, got the guy, brought him out so he could hook it up. While they're doing that, there's a lady inside that vehicle. They didn't realize. Still alive, just trapped. So they were able to rescue her. She's fine. But
so it hadn't been there very long.
They're not sure how long, because that woman was reported missing a couple hours prior to that. And so who knows how long she was under there. But yeah, be careful on those boat ramps.
Yeah, be careful. Yeah. That's so crazy. Okay, the next couple we've talked about before, and we're going to talk about again, but inflation, update on inflation. It cooled slightly more than expected in April, which we got in May. Headline CPI came in at the first time in a while to have a handle under a 5. We got a 4.9%.
4.9.
Headline CPI year over year, which was down from 5% the last month. But if you take out food and energy, core CPI was up 5.5%,
okay.
Meaning core is continually being right now hotter than headline.
So food and energy are bringing inflation down.
Exactly. And then personal consumption expenditures, which is the Fed's preferred inflation gauge, that was actually a little hotter than expected, increasing 0.4% month over month. Headline was up 4.4% year over year, with core up 4.7%. Okay. So we're still in an area where inflation is quite a bit hotter than the Fed would like to see, which is going to lead me to my next point, but I'm going to let Josh go first.
Before you get there, there was a lady in Australia who went missing. All right. She took a wrong turn and was missing for 5 days.
It's a big country to get
missing
lost
for 5 days. She was able to survive those 5 days on wine and candy, which is what was in her vehicle, because she was on a trip to see her family, and that's what she was bringing as a gift. But after 5 days, they were able to rescue her, and she was fine. Slightly dehydrated, but it was good. But I was thinking about that. 5 days, wine and candy. For a lot of moms, that may actually be a vacation, right? So, but she was okay. She got her vehicle stuck. Yeah. She made a wrong turn, got stuck in a dirt road, tried to turn around, got stuck in the mud. No cell service. So, and they said actually what saved her was she was unable to hike out for health reasons, but staying by her vehicle because it got cold at night. She was able to use the heater to stay warm. So they actually say staying by her vehicle kept her safe and alive.
I mean, she probably got stuck and did all the turnaround stuff because she didn't realize she's driving on the wrong side of the road.
That might be there in
Australia. Probably it. All right, fifth and final.
Yep.
You knew it was coming, Josh.
I'm ready.
The Fed.
As
we noted actually last month's video, we got a hike on May 3rd.
Yes.
May 3rd, we got a 25 basis point hike, which at that point actually seemed likely to be the last hike for the cycle. As of now, however, it seems likely over the next couple meetings that we may get one more 25 basis point hike before things cool off.
Meeting in June.
Yep, there is a meeting in June. So as of right now, it does have about a 60% chance of a pause for this meeting, but those numbers are changing constantly.
Because it was at 80+% earlier.
So those numbers are moving constantly due to the heightened inflation in a lot of areas that we continue to have. So that's something we're going to be watching. So while we do feel like we're still probably a lot closer to the end of the cycle than the beginning, there may still be a hike left. But anyway, we're getting close to the peak there.
All right. Sports. A lot of different sports. Competitions out there. So there's one over in the UK where they have a race. Yep. Hundreds of people gather every year to watch this. Dozens of people participate. What they do is they roll a 7-pound block of cheese down a hill, and you race to catch it.
Okay.
Yes.
And then you eat the cheese.
The winner, which is closest to it when it finishes, because I guess you really can't catch it because it's a pretty steep hill apparently, gets the cheese. You get to keep the cheese, and that's the prize. But they've been doing this.
Is it the cheese
They've
been
doing this. I had it here since 1826. Wow. So it's a pretty long competition here. It may have even been older than that, but in this area they've been doing it since 1826. But listen to these quotes, okay? All right. So
the lady, with a British accent, please.
I cannot. This lady actually was a Canadian contestant, so she came all the way over from Canada to do this. She's 19 years old. She won the women's race despite being briefly knocked unconscious on the way down. She says, "I just remember hitting my head, and now I have the cheese." That was her quote. So it's pretty steep. People are tumbling all over the place. This other guy, Matt, who won the first of a group of men's races. They do a couple different ones. They asked, "How do you prepare?" And this was his quote. "I don't think you can train for it, can you? It's just being an idiot." So if you're looking for a new competition to get into, maybe chasing cheese down a hill.
I like cheese.
The way to go. Yeah.
And in my house, we eat a lot. So maybe this is the way
That's
to
it.
get
Find a
7
steep hill.
pounds.
I mean, that's a big block of cheese right there.
I don't think I could eat 7 pounds of cheese. So, all right. Well, thank you for listening. As a reminder, nothing we talked about today is a recommendation.
Yep.
But if you have any questions about your financial situation, feel free to give us a call at 419-425-2400 or email us at hello@hzcapital.com. And until next month, have a good
talk
summer.
To you later.
Thanks. Bye.
Josh Robb and Austin Wilson work for Hixon Zuercher Capital Management. All opinions expressed by Josh, Austin, or any guest are solely their own opinions and do not reflect the opinions of Hixon Zuercher Capital Management. This is for informational purposes only and should not be relied upon for investment decisions. Clients of Hixon Zuercher Capital Management may maintain positions in the securities discussed. There is no guarantee that the statements, opinions, or forecasts provided herein will prove to be correct. Past performance may not be indicative of future results. Indices are not available for direct investment. Any investor who attempts to mimic the performance of an index would incur fees and expenses which would reduce returns. Securities investing involves risk, including the potential for loss of principal. There is no assurance that any investment plan or strategy will be successful.